Hi everybody, Jake here for FMSCOUT. Welcome to today's video where we're going to be looking at some teams that you guys could potentially manage in FM22. That's right, FM22, we're looking at it already. It's probably not far along in the future now when we'll start hearing about feature drops, potential beta release dates, what's going to be new in that game, that kind of thing. And that doesn't mean the end of FM21 content on the channel either right now. It's just we thought, why not make this video to build some hype towards the new game and get you guys thinking about who you could potentially manage in your first or second or third FM22 save. I'm sure a lot of you have already got plans in mind, but this video will hopefully give you a few ideas of what you might want to do. There's going to be 8 teams in today's video if I remember correctly, and they're all varying levels of challenges, from one that I would consider pretty tough and one that I would consider, it's a 1-2 season job, have fun with it and move on to a new save. It's going to range from leagues across the world. There's nothing specific. We will do closer to the time specific videos such as Fallen Giants and teams in Europe, teams outside of Europe, lower league clubs, all that kind of thing. We do all them kind of videos for you when the game is on the horizon. But for right now, we're just going to take a brief overview of some clubs that you guys might want to take over in your FM22 saves, and we'll get right into it. But I will just preface this by saying, of course, FM22 isn't out. This is FM21. So anything you see in here, whether it's the team's facilities, league positioning, the squad that they've got, of course, that is all subject to change based on what actually happened in the 2021 season in the footballing world, which hasn't yet been simulated in FM21. So without further ado, no more wasting time, let's go and look at the first team that you guys could manage in your first save. So the first club that we are looking at is one that I think is going to be in every single one of these lists that you watch, whether it be on FMSCOUT or otherwise. They're the only non-league club in the video, and it is Wrexham. You will find them in FM22 in the Conference Premier Division, and even though they're a club that is situated in Wales, they are in the English divisions. And the reason why I'm suggesting them is because I'm sure at some point you'll all want to do a lower league management save where you work your way up. And even though they're not in the lowest of the low divisions, Wrexham would be a really fun team to manage, mainly down to the fact that they've just had new ownership, which is always fun, but of course, even better when the owners are 2 world famous actors. You've got Rob McElhenney and Deadpool Ryan Reynolds, or whatever you want to know him from, are now the owners of this club. So hopefully in game that will be represented, and when you go talk to the board, to the owners, whatever it might be, you can actually go to the club overview and you should see them as the owners. Maybe they'll pump in a little bit of money on the down low, or maybe they'll be pretty tight with the budget. We don't know what they're going to be like in Football Manager, but who knows? It's just fun to have them kind of people as the top of your club. So if you're going to pick a non-league team to start a save with, I think Wrexham would be a pretty fun one to start with. Okay, here we are with the second team, and before I get into why I've chosen Brentford as a potential save for you guys, if you are enjoying today's video or you want to see more content about FM22 coming up, don't forget to hit the like button and comment down below who you might manage in FM22, because I'd like to know that. But also do let us know the kind of FM22 videos you want to see in the run up to the game. If you haven't already as well, hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell to keep up to date on all of the FM22 news that we'll be talking about on the channel, and all the videos that we're going to have for you, Wonder Kids tactics, you can name it, we'll have it on the channel. But Brentford, we have chose them as our team, and even though it says they're in the Championship, they're of course in the Premier Division, the Premier League, one of, if not the most lucrative leagues in world football, and they've just got into it. They're going to have a big chunk of cash coming into the club. Not only do they have a cool badge, I think they're a very good club to do a Premier League save with, because you don't have to do the whole getting promoted thing. If you don't want to do that and you just want to start in the Premier League, Brentford could be a fun club that should still provide a fair bit of a challenge as you push for eventual Premier League and maybe Champions League glory, if you can go that far with them. Now, the reason that I do like Brentford is because they've had a really good recruitment policy in the past. I'm not going to get into details of it because some people will call it Moneyball, some people will say it's not Moneyball, but to sum it up, they're basically trying to find value in players that other clubs might not see value in, bring them in, turn them into really good players and potentially sell them on for profit in the future. Not only that, they've got a fairly young squad with some really nice talents that you could potentially use in your save, and they all seem to be from Denmark. That's interesting. You're likely going to be using Ivan Toney as your main man up front. The 24-year-old English striker will hopefully be your main striker for a few years. Maybe you'll have to keep him away from some of the bigger clubs because he had a very, very good season in the 2021 season in real life, so he should get a little bit of an improvement in FM22. But I think Brentford would be a very fun Premier League team to use should you want a bit more of a challenge in the league. Okay, team number 3, and this one, you might be looking at it thinking, what the hell? But trust me, I think if you're looking for a challenging save or something that will just be a little bit out of your comfort zone, don't get me wrong, it's not going to be the world's most challenging save. People would argue maybe starting from non-league to England would be harder than this. However, I think this would represent a really interesting save, not only for helping this club, but for helping the nation of Moldova as a footballing nation. So we're looking at Sheriff Tiraspol. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Anyone who's from Moldova, I've done my best. But basically, they are arguably the most reputable club in the Moldovan divisions. I don't think many people would argue that. Now, the reason I've chose these guys out of any club in the world is because they are the first Moldovan team to ever make the Champions League group stage in real life. After a really good qualifying stage, they've made it into the group stage, and if you can replicate that in Football Manager, in your first season especially, that'll be really good because you're going to bring in a lot of Champions League money and you're going to be the richest club in your nation by far. But winning your league is not the be all and end all. You will have to, over the long term, try and take this club to Champions League glory, at the same time raising their reputation, raising the reputation of a Moldovan league, and then if you want to go even further, with the money that's came into the league, as you've enhanced the reputation, if you're there for 10 plus years, you might even want to take over the Moldovan national team and try and bring them up to glory as well, because you've improved the league system so much more money funding in, then you're getting more players being produced. There's so far that you can go with this. You could do a building a nation save, or you could just simply try and take this club to Champions League group stage glory, or maybe even all the way to the Champions League title. If you go for it for 5 or 10 years, you might end up getting there. It's going to be hard, you're not going to have much budget, but if you're looking for a save, it's going to take a bit more effort, a bit more commitment, and I'm sure you're going to end up developing your own storylines with this team. I think it would be really fun, so let me know in the comments if you think you'll give this team a go in FM22. Okay, halfway through the list now, team number 4, and this is the one that I would suggest is maybe the easiest save in the whole list. It is Barcelona. Of course, in FM22, you're going to be dealing with not only a massive debt, at least according to everyone around Barcelona, there is a huge debt there, and you've also just lost Lionel Messi, arguably the best footballer in world football, and even if you don't think so, he's definitely up there in the conversation of all-time great. So Lionel Messi, having left the club, not only is going to free up a lot of wage, but is also going to lead a gaping hole in your guys' teams. Now, there's plenty of ways that you can get around this. You could try and sign some new players to fill the gap that he's left. However, I think what I would want to do with Barcelona is really use the Barcelona B, La Masia Academy and all the under-19 players to really just start a new generation at the club. Chances are, at the time of recording, Mariba won't be there because he looks like he's leaving for Red Bull Leipzig. But you're going to be building not around Busquets and Piqué, but hopefully transitioning into a team that features the likes of Fati and Pedri, with Frankie de Jong as well, mixing in some youth and some La Masia Academy graduates alongside the countless ones that they've got. In FM21 alone, they've had plenty of wonderkids. The likes of Gavi is well talked about. I've had Akamatch in my Lille save. There's plenty of young, good players in this team that you could potentially try and just transition the team around. Now, I would say this is fairly easy because, no, it's not going to be easy to get past all the debt and replace Lionel Messi, because how hard is that going to be? It's probably one of the hardest jobs you could ever do. But I think you should still be classed as one of the better teams in La Liga. I think you've still got the players to do well, potentially even challenge for the title. I don't think there's much crazy about challenging for the title with Barcelona, even without Lionel Messi. But then, can you eventually take it? Take them to the Champions League with a new set of young players. Back in the day, they had Xavi, Iniesta, Puyol, Messi, all them. Now you're going to replace them with your likes of De Jong, Ronald Araujo, Gavi, whoever you want to use, Pedri, Fati, whatever you want to do, just go for it. Try and rebuild Barcelona without Messi there and see how you get on. Speaking of poor financial situations that are going to be hard to make your way out of, Derby might be an even harder job than Barcelona. Not only are you in the depths of the depths in terms of your club debt, at least if Football Manager 22 represents what happened to Derby in real life, but on top of that, your team is really slim because Derby have had a transfer embargo of sorts, which has meant that their squad is very small for the Championship. They're definitely relegation candidates in real life in the 21-22 season, and you're going to be replacing Wayne Rooney as the manager of Derby to see what you can do. So I think first season, maybe try and keep them up, then eventually start fixing the club debt, maybe get into the Premier League, get some money in, don't have a bad season like they did when they joined the Premier League about a decade ago now, where they were the worst Premier League team ever, I believe it was, in terms of points total. Try and do better than that, stay in the Premier League, maybe win the Premier League, win the Champions League, see how far you can go with a club that's going to start in a real deep low, and you're going to have to try and drag them out of that in whatever means you can. Before we go and have a look at team number 6, only 3 teams left to go in today's video, I'd just like to ask you guys, if you do enjoy this kind of content, if you want to see more Football Manager content, not only should you subscribe to the channel, but if you want to come check out my channel, linked in the description, that would really mean a lot. We only need about 20 subscribers now to get to the 3,000 mark, which would be awesome to hit before the end of FM21. We have a save going on over there with Lazio, where we're trying to rebuild them into Champions League winners. We've done it before with Lille, and now on to Lazio. We're only a few episodes in if you want to catch up. Just had a a huge crazy summer of transfers. Just started season 2, so if you want to join in and check that out, that would really mean a lot. A lot of you guys have came over and said you've really enjoyed it, but a bit more of a rebuild job would be on your hands if you took over FC Schalke. Looking at them now, in the Bundesliga, 4-star reputation, facilities are amazing, this club should be fine, right? But as many of you might know, in real life, they've been relegated into the Bundesliga too. So, one of the most reputable clubs in Germany is in the second division, and whilst I don't think it'll be too hard to get from that second division to first division, I reckon a season or two and you should really be there. Then you've got to try and really establish yourself yet again as one of the bigger clubs in Germany. You've got to prove that you belong in that top division after such a poor showing in the recent season, in the 2021 season in real life. And then eventually, if you can push on, beat Bayern Munich, take over their dominance of the league, and maybe push for a Champions League title, you'll have done a very good job, because they're not in a great state. But like I say, providing not much changes, I can't see them downgrading these facilities like 10 levels. You're still going to have very good facilities, by far the best staff, the best facilities in your Bundesliga 2 league. You should be the best, maybe competing with Werder Bremen, who is another good club that you could potentially manage, because they are also in the second division as far as I'm aware. So between you and them, you're going to be two of the best clubs in that league. Maybe not the best, but you'll definitely be up there. Then you've got to get promoted, and the real challenge starts in the Bundesliga. So with Schalke looked at, there's 2 teams left, so let's move on to the second to last team in our list. So we are here with recent title winners Lille in the French division. They defied all odds and beat PSG to the title, gaining their first title for about a decade, if I remember right, because I have managed these before in Football Manager. Yeah, 2011 was when they won their last one, and they won their newest one in 2020. So great work for them, for Lille, and this represents a different challenge to the others in the list. Instead of trying to rise your way to the top, Lille are currently at the top. But unfortunately, in real life, their manager left them for a lower down club in Nice. Why that was supposedly because the board weren't really backing him in trying to improve the team anymore, and he didn't want to stay there. I don't know the full details, but when we managed them on FM21 on my channel, it was really fun. And I think there'll be a great challenge in FM22, because you've got to keep them at the top whilst competing with arguably one of the greatest first 11s ever seen in what PSG have produced in real life. They've brought over Ramos, Donnarumma, Messi, Wijnaldum, Hakimi, just to name a few. There's probably a couple more that joined. And if Mbappe stays, they're going to have a front three of Messi, Mbappe, Neymar, not counting the fact that they've got Icardi, Di Maria, blah, 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 blah. They've got such a good team, and if you can compete with them, with the likes of Burak Yilmaz, no offence Burak Yilmaz, he obviously did amazing, then you'll be doing a very good job. Providing none of them leave before the end of a transfer window, you've got plenty of good young talent though, although as far as I'm aware, Zeki Çelik, who is a really good right back, is being linked with a move away, as is Sven Botman, and obviously Boubakary Soumaré has already left to join Leicester. So you're going to have a job on your hands here to try and keep the title. If within the first few seasons you can stay in that conversation of title challengers, maybe eventually you can replace PSG in the long term instead of just a single season. If you can do that, you'll have done a very good job, and maybe you can match what I did in FM22. So with that being said, we've got one team left, and let's go and take a look at them. And with our last team, we're heading over to Italy now. Obviously, I can't feature every team in this video, so do let me know in the comments who you're thinking of managing. And we're here in Serie B with Salernitana. Apologies if I've pronounced that wrong. I think I've got it right. I watched a video and that's supposedly how you pronounce it. But you might be looking at them thinking, yeah, that's just another Serie B team. Well, they've actually got promoted into the top division, into Serie A in real life, and they are definitely expected to go down. In all honesty, this slipped by me. I didn't know they'd been promoted. I've never actually heard of them before, which goes to show maybe I don't have as much knowledge on Italian football as I should do. However, they're not really seen as likely to do anything in the league. Recently in real life, I've just seen an interview where Jose Mourinho, Roma beat them 4-0, his Roma team, and he said in an interview when asked how he thought about the challenge of the game, he said he thought it would be impossible to lose to this team, which, you know, a bit harsh, but they do have a minimal squad. The players aren't going to be the best players in the world. Their facilities, whilst they're okay, aren't the best facilities in the world either. You're going to have a big challenge on your hands to stay in the Serie A, like with Benevento of FM21 or Parma of FM21. Parma, I thought, was a good club to build with. They've now been relegated into Serie B, so if you want to try and get them back up, that's another good save idea. But Salernitana is that new one where you're really going to struggle to stay up, I think. But if you can do it, much like the Derby one, if you can survive the first year or so in your league, maybe then you can push on, use that kind of money and just try and sort your squad out, and eventually with some youngsters, maybe some wonder kids in this team, you could take them to the top of Serie A, displacing Juventus, Napoli, Lazio, AC Milan, Inter Milan, Atalanta, you name it. There's plenty of really good teams that you're going to be challenging with just to stay up in this division, never mind going to win it. So Let me know what you think. Will you manage this team? It's probably the one that I think least people will think about, but if you want to give it a go, I think it'll be great fun. So there you go, guys. That is the end of today's video. Hopefully there's enough information there to at least get you thinking about who you might manage in FM22, and if you're going to manage any of these teams, do let me know. I'm thinking about Barcelona. I think Barcelona would be fun for a beta save for a couple of weeks. Who knows? But yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Like the video if you did enjoy. Feel free to check out my channel, linked in the description, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Goodbye.